Despise me if I do not. 3 great men of the city in personal suit to make me his lieutenant. Off cap to him, and by the faith of man, I know my price. I am worth no worse a place. But he, loving his own pride and purposes, evades them with a bombast circumstance, horribly stuffed with epithets of war. And in conclusion, none suits my mediators, for, certes, I've already chosen my officer. And what was he? Forsooth, a great arithmetician, one Michael Cassio, Florentine, a fellow almost damned with a fair wife, that never set a squadron on the field, nor the division of a battle knows more than a spinster, unless the bookish lyric, or in the togaed consuls can propose as masterly as he. Mere prattle, without practice, is all his soldiership. But he, sir, had the election, and I, of whom his eyes had seen the proof at Rhodes, at Cyprus, on other grounds, Christian and heathen, must be belayed and calmed. My debtor, my creditor, this countercaster, he in good time must his lieutenant be, and I, God bless the mark, his moorship's ancient. All right, I'm talking to Rodrigo, same person. I follow him to serve my turn upon him. We cannot all be masters, nor all masters cannot truly be followed. You shall mark many a duteous and knee-crooking knave that, doting on their own obsequious bondage, wears out their time, much like their master's ass, for naught but provender. And when he's old cashiered, whip me such honest knaves. Others there are who, trimmed in forms and visages of duty, keep yet their hearts attending on themselves, and, throwing but shows of service on their lords, do well thrive by them. And when they have lined their coats, do themselves homage. These fellows have some soul, and such one do I profess myself. For, sir, is as sure as you are Rodrigo, were I the Moor, I would not be Iago. Heaven is my judge, not I for love and duty, but seeming so for my peculiar end. For when my outward action doth demonstrate the native act and figure of my heart, and compliment extern, 'tis not long after I wear my heart upon my sleeve for daws to peck at. I am not what I am. Thus do I ever make my fool my purse. For I mine own gained knowledge should profane if I would time expend with such a snipe, but for my sport and profit. I hate the Moor. 'Tis thought abroad that twixt my sheets he has done my office. I know not if to be true, but I for mere suspicion of the kind will do as if for surety. He holds me well. The better shall my purpose work on him. Cassio's a proper man, let me see now. To get his place, and to plume up my will in double knavery. Let me see. After some time, to abuse Othello's ear that he is too familiar with his wife. He hath a person that is smooth disposed to be suspected, framed to make women false, and the Moors of a free and open nature, that thinks men honest that but seem to be so, and will be tenderly led by the nose as asses are. I have it. It is engendered. Hell and nightmare spring this monstrous birth to the world's light. That Cassio loves her. I do well believe it. That she loves him, 'tis apt and of great credit. The more, howbeit, that I endure him not is of a constant, loving, noble nature. And I dare think he'll prove to Desdemona a most dear husband. Now, I do love her too, not out of absolute lust, though peradventure I stand accountant of as great a sin. But partly led to diet my revenge, I do suspect the lusty Moor hath leapt into my seat. The thought thereof doth, like a poisonous mineral, gnaw my inwards. Nothing can or shall content my soul until I am even with him, wife for wife. Or failing so, yet did I at least put them all into a jealousy so strong that judgment cannot cure. Which thing to do? If this poor trash of Venice, whom I trash for his quick hunting, stand the putting on, I'll have her Michael Cassio on the hip, abuse him to the more in the rank garb, for I fear Cassio with my nightcap too. Make the more thank me, love me, reward me, for making him egregiously an ass and practicing upon his peace and quiet even to madness. 'Tis here, but yet confused. Knavery's plain face is never seen till used. What's he then that says, I play the villain? When this advice is free I give and honest, probable to thinking and indeed the course to win the more again. For 'tis most easy the inclining Desdemona to subdue in any honest suit. She's framed as fruitful as the free elements. And then for her to win the more, or to renounce his baptism, all seals and symbols of redeemed sin. His soul is so unfettered to her love that she may make, unmake, do as she list, even as her appetite should play the god to his weak function. How am I then a villain, to counsel Cassio on this parallel course, directly to his good divinity of hell? When devils will the blackest sins put on, they do suggest at first with heavenly shows. As I do now, for while this honest fool plies Desdemona to repair his fortunes, and she for him pleads strongly to the more, I'll pour this pestilence into his ear. She repeals him for her body's lust, and by how much she strives to do him good, she shall undo her credit with the more. So I will turn her virtue into pitch, and out of her own goodness make the net that shall enmesh them all. It is the cause, my soul. Let me not name it to you, you chaste stars, it is the cause. Yet I'll not shed her blood, nor scar that whiter skin of hers than snow, and smooth as monumental alabaster. Yet she must die, else she'll betray more men. Put out the light, and then put out the light. If I quench thee, thou flaming minister, I can again thy former light restore. But once put out thy light, thou cunningest pattern of excelling nature, I know not where is that Promethean heat that can thy light relume. When I've plucked the rose, I cannot give it vital growth again. It must needs wither, I'll smell it on the tree. Ah, balmy breath, that dost almost persuade justice to break her sword. One more. Be thus when thou art dead, and I will kill thee and love thee after. One more, and this the last. So sweet was ne'er so fatal. I must weep, but they are cruel tears. This sorrow's heavenly. It strikes where it doth love. She wakes,